What's going on, everybody? It's Zare Felrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. This week's battles were done in the Open Great League, because I'm done with Sinnoh Cup. I've had too much of that RPS for my life, man. I gotta go back to Open Great League. So, this week's team features a Charmeleon and Ninetales with Double Ghost in the back. This is actually a team, it's called PPS. It's Pure Phantom Soul. That was dubbed by its creator, BigCDizzle. Shout outs to him for this team. He's a patron supporter of mine. Shout out to all my patron supporters. To be honest, all you guys are awesome. We couldn't do this without you. He brought this team to us last season, and we just been soaring with it. This is one of my go-to Great League teams, and it's a fantastic team. So I'm hoping to share it with you all today with some great battles. I did tank a little bit. Go Battle League has not been kind to me. I got up to 2,900 about a week ago, and then just kind of fell afterwards, and starting to get my footing back, and this team has helped me do it. So without further ado, let's jump into these battles here. We got our first battle here. We got Ninetales up against a Trevenant lead. So this is okay. It's not great since we have Charm. They don't know that. So they instantly switch out. And in comes a Walrein. Now, Walrein is not exactly a counter to Balloon Ninetales, especially when it runs Charm. So I'm looking to just Charm down here since my backline can handle a Trevenant with an energy lead or a shield lead, or a shield advantage. And my opponent baits the Icicle Spear, which is fine. So go for it, man. Let's do it. So they're going to go for another Icicle Spear that wasn't even nearly enough to be an Earthquake, so I'm just going to finish Charming down here. And then my opponent's going to look to come back in with a Stunfisk, and at this point, since they're locked in, I'll swap out to my Sableye. Could have gone Cofagrigus. Either way, it really doesn't make a difference here. Probably, I just, like, Sableye has faster moves, and it's still good. So either way, it's just a little bit spammier, so it made better use to bring it in when it had the shield, or when we had even shields and 2 shields each, so that way I can burn the shields a bit quicker, and then just save my shield, at least 1 shield, to boom the Trevenant into the afterlife with the Cofagrigus. So kind of playing out this sort of boring matchup here. It's just my opponent is looking to throw Earthquake. They're trying to hit the Earthquake. This time I let it through. I didn't want to let the last one through, but this time they're going to go ahead and I'm going to let it through. They come in with Trevenant to try and quickly farm me down, but I'm able to get to the foul play beforehand. And it takes them almost one-shots to Trevenant, and I come in to finish it off with Cofagrigus, and at this point, their fate is as sealed as the coffin Cofagrigus inhabits. Even an Earthquake wouldn't KO me from this range, but I'm going to go ahead and shield anyway, because I know they're going to throw it anyway. And I'll just farm down at this point. GG's to my opponent. Alright, next game we got coming up here, we've got Ninetales into Bastion. So this is one of the scariest leads you could possibly see, but I'm going to insta-swap into Sableye here. Sableye being one of the most MVP save switches of the Great League, to be completely honest with you. That thing is, XL Sableye is just absolutely busted. They're staying in here, which makes me assume that they either don't have a good answer to Sableye, or they have another answer to Ninetales. So I'm going to let this go, because if they're not swapping out, I'm kind of assuming now at this point that they're running the Zionic line with Bastiodon, Sableye, and Medicham, which indeed it looks like they are. They come in with their Sableye now that they can start to farm me down, because you don't come into a Sableye mirror if you're behind on energy. You just lose switch that way. And they're not going to come in with a Medicham if that's what's in the back, which I'm going to come in now with my Ninetales. I can just Charm down. And I wanted to save shields because in the past when I've played that Bastiodon lead, if I shield, the Bastiodon typically stays in, and I'm left with no shields against whatever they've got in the back. And that was a Power Gem Sableye, which means, ouch. Ouch. Here, have a kaboom. Kaboom! Just because. Alright, so Bastiodon comes in now, and at this point, I'm able to stand with Cofagrigus, and I know for sure at this point that they've got a Medicham in the back because they're not swapping it in. If they had anything else, they would have swapped it in by now to keep the Bastiodon on that Ninetales. So I'm going to start baiting Dark Pulses here. There's no reason to go for Shadow Ball at this point. Dark Pulse would do heavy enough damage that if they did let one through, I could Shadow Claw down. But I'm going to shield these moves up because I need to. And my opponent does come in with the Medicham now to try and get me to waste my energy here. And I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse bait. Either they're going to let it go when I farm down, or they're going to shield and their shields are gone. Now, on this one, I'm going to throw right before they get to the Psychic here. I go for the Dark Pulse because I'm going to have to eat a Psychic either way, or shield the Psychic either way. So I'm just going to leave him just in farm down range. I try to swap in a Ninetales to catch it, just in case they didn't. but they did, so I'm going to shield it just to keep the health, and it's an Ice Punch, for Christ's sake. So I'm going to come in and charm down this Medicham, leave myself with just a little bit of HP. The Bastiodon's able to get me with one single smackdown. This is a nail biter, ladies and gentlemen. That Bastiodon is not far off from a Stone Edge, but I'm able to get there just in time to the Dark Pulse to KO this Bastiodon. Good game. It's a sweaty matchup because that Bastiodon is really hard to deal with if it gets anywhere near your Ninetales. So always best to try and somehow take care of it with one of the two ghosts. Just keep your Ninetales away from it at all costs if you have that matchup. But Charm leads with this team, you have to stay in with Ninetales. You can't really safely swap in here because they're going to get chunked, and it's, you know, Ninetales is one of the bulkier of the usual ones, but the opponent just swaps into their Stunfisk here, which I counter swap with my Sableye because I feel like it's just a better matchup. Again, Sableye is spammier. It's going to get those shields a bit quicker. It's going to chunk faster. But Charm Leads, you want to make sure that you stay in and win that matchup. My opponent gave up Switch here, which basically does the same thing. I shield this Earthquake here to prevent my opponent from being able to get me too low before I can start getting their shields and the rest of their Stunfisk's HP. I know at this point they're going to come back in with their Granbull afterwards, so I'm going to look to get up to 2 foul plays here to either burn shields or take out the Stunfisk and be able to land the foul play on the very low Granbull. Granbull's going to come back in, and I'm going to throw this foul play. This is exactly what I wanted to do here. I wanted to put pressure on my opponent to either shield or let their Granbull go down. And they do shield, so I will now get some Shadow Claw, some chip damage. That thing chunks, man. That Granbull is so squishy. I'm going to come in and finish it off with my Ninetales here. And they got a Scrafty in the back. Now, this is kind of bad for me because the Scrafty is full HP. I'm going to get some chip damage with the Weather Ball in, but they're going to shield it up. And now I have to come in with Cofagrigus because otherwise my Ninetales would get farmed down. And I'm going to save it for later just in case. Scrafty has to get off 2 foul plays in order to take me out. And Shadow Ball does respectable damage, and I have a shield. So at this point, all I have to do is get to the next Shadow Ball. My opponent could bait here. I'm kind of expecting them to, but I also know that I can just tank an unboosted foul play and not have to worry about the counter damage that's going to come after. So I do shield this move, and then I'm going to look to get the Shadow Ball off and seal up this game real nice here. Cofagrigus is an excellent sweeper, even against this Scrafty. Like, as long as it's not a super bulky Dark type like Umbreon or Mandibuzz, you actually have a good chance at taking out Dark types here with Cofagrigus in the endgame, as long as you've got a shield. So, Deoxys lead, kind of not what I want to see on the lead, so I'm going to swap to Sableye immediately, and they come in with Drapion. So here's the thing with the Drapion matchup, right? So, yes, they are resisting my Shadow Claws, and they can deal neutral back to me with Crunch, but their fast move damage is negligible. And if I bait the return, typically they'll shield. Now, this person was wise and called my bait, so at this point, I just have knowledge of this matchup that I can let the first Crunch go, and then afterwards I can start shielding up the Crunches in order to win Switch, and I will be able to outpace my opponent to the fourth Crunch, I believe, because they will either have to shield one of these foul plays in order to win Switch, and if they don't shield, then I can either just Shadow Claw down with both shields and win Switch, which is ideally what I need to do here because I don't want my Ninetales against that Deoxys. Just because it's so bulky and Ninetales can't really charm it effectively. So I want my Cofagrigus against it. My opponent gives up Switch here to come in with a Wall Rain, and I'm going to immediately throw this foul play. I need to think for a second. That's kind of why I throw energy so quickly sometimes. But I come in with the Ninetales here. That gives me just kind of a chance to get a better reaction. But I'm going to come in and charm. Now, I know from this range an Earthquake won't KO, and they're probably going to go for it since I don't have any shields. And typically, you'd think that I would run Wall Rain in a team, in my team, show off the new stuff. But you know what? The meta shifted in such a way that everybody was running Wall Rain, and then everybody was running everything that beats Wall Rain. So I just said, screw it. I'm going to run an old team that works because all the fighters out right now, no fighter has anywhere to go against this team, like, at all. So that's why it's really ideal in a meta like this at the moment, because if everybody's running fighters or counter psychic types, they don't really have anywhere to go against this team, so I'm fine with that. My opponent wants to get off an Icicle Spear before I go down. That's fine. A Shadow Claw down to start getting that energy. My opponent has to come in now with the Deoxys because the Drapion is so low, and they do a really good catch. I overfarm, and my opponent calls upon the Force itself to catch that Dark Pulse. But unfortunately, I'm getting pretty low here, so I'm getting kind of nervous. Now, my opponent has some energy here, and I'm not sure if a Psycho Boost will take me out from this range. So what I need to do is I need to get to a move, but I also call upon the Force to catch a move against the Deoxys. Now, I catch a Thunderbolt. Takes out my Sableye, which is fine with me, because now I'm going to be able to get to... Never mind, I don't get to it. They didn't have 0 energy when they threw that move. So, Psycho Boost hangs on with just a little bit of HP, just enough to get me to the Shadow Ball and take out the Deoxys. That was a close one. That was a great game. Good game to my opponent. Takes it out. All right, but yeah, that Drapion matchup, I've started to learn that if you let them throw the first crunch, then they'll start to shield, even if you bait, just because they want to win switch. So, Ninetales lead. This one, I'm burning. I'm kind of mad. So, every time I faced the Ninetales mirror lead, I lost it because my Ninetales has Raid Hatch IVs. So, look, I snuck a Charm through. I'm a Charm ahead of my opponent. I should win this, right? Right? I'm not even going to throw energy. Like, I should win this. But no. The IVs matter. They matter until they don't matter, don't they? That blows, because unfortunately now I think that this actually ends up costing me the game. Because there's no way that they come in with a Sableye against a Charm Ninetales, even if I've got a little bit of HP left. So I'm down to shield because I wanted to win switch. So again, you know, I wanted to get the Charmer out of the way to try and get this damn Sableye some play. And unfortunately, they had Sableye in the back and another shield. So I'm just going to try to do as much as I can here. Burn their shields or get these foul plays off, since I am able to get them. And they let it go, so they're keeping 2 shields. And they have a Shadow Electivire in the back. And I know I'm completely screwed. It's going to be able to farm down if I don't swap out. So I get the hell out of there. And my moves, this Thunder Shock is going to charge the 2 Wild Charge well before I get to another move. So my opponent's going to shield this up, and all they have to do is knock me with a couple of Wild Charges. Even though I've got a shield, watch this. This is my only win condition here is they bait the Ice Punch. That's the only way I win this game. But then they go for the Wild Charge. Holy shit, that hurts, dude. It takes me all the way down to 1 Thunder Shock's worth of HP. And now my opponent has another move, and at this point, I shield it. I'm like, okay, if they throw another Wild Charge, all right, maybe I can farm it down, get to a foul play. No, I'm too low, and the Sableye's going to come in and get me with a Shadow Claw, and that's a good game. The Electivire completely caught my ass off guard, dude. That was great, though. That was a lot of fun. I blended with my chair. I'm like a floating head. All right, so another Deoxys lead. Been seeing a lot of these because of Wall Rain, and Medicham, honestly, too. I have running the Medicham Lickitung Wall Rain line, and I got like 200 points with that line, and then it got flopped because everybody was countering it. So they switch in the Drapion here. Now you see in this case, I actually let them throw the first move and then I throw. So I'm lulling them into a false sense of security, thinking that all they have to do is land one more crunch, and they technically think they outpace me. But because I got a couple of Shadow Claws off on that Deoxys before they swapped out, they actually don't get to outpace me to the 4th move. Fourth move. I think it's the 3rd move. Because I can tank one, and they're choosing not to tank one because they're in fear of the return. So I get to keep baiting with foul play. My opponent keeps shielding. So now all I have to do is get to the foul play, and I'm counting their moves here to make sure that I'm not going to get, you know, if I'm going to take another crunch, I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to bother spending a shield. But I'm able to get to the return before my opponent is able to get to another crunch here, and I am going to be able to flip switch on this Drapion and be able to align my... Oh, that was good. It feels so good to win those kinds of matchups. And then you get to come in with Cofagrigus against the Deoxys, and I get to align my Ninetales to this Wall Rain, but not before I can get a foul play off and do some big damage to this thing. You know, you'd be surprised how much a foul play does from that, but look at this. That does a respectable, like, 55 or so % HP. So I'm going to come back in with my Ninetales. It is a Shadow Wall Rain. That does kind of scare me a bit because that Shadow damage from the Earthquake is going to hurt like a bitch. I'll give it a kaboom because it did a lot of my HP and damage. All right, but I'm going to come with Cofagrigus. They got no shields. They got not a chance in hell to win this match. But I'm going to go for the Dark Pulse just to get to it sooner. But good game to my opponent there. Winning that mid-game is everything when you've got a Deoxys. Speaking of Deoxys again, there's a lot of Deoxys in Open Great League right now in the lead. There's a lot of them. So every time, swap to Sableye. So this time they come in with Wall Rain. Which is fine. They do outpace me, but I know that I can at least tank one Icicle Spear. So I will. XL Sableye is an absolute boss, and Because they're Shadow, though, those Powder Snows are doing a ton of damage. So all my opponent really needs to do here is double shield. And someone's at my door. They just need a double shield, and they can farm me all the way down, which is actually kind of unfortunate. So I actually have to start shielding. I'm trying my absolute best to win switch here, but I'm not going to be able to get to that foul play in time. My opponent needs 2 more Powder Snows to take me out, and I need 2 more Shadow Claws to get to the move, so I'm not going to be able to make it. My opponent will flip switch on me here, take me out. That is unfortunate. I was really trying to line my Deoxys up against the Cofagrigus, but sometimes it just happens that way. Me not knowing all the matchups of Walrein because I haven't really played as many of them as I'd want to yet, because nobody... Here, have another Earthquake, kaboom! Because I haven't played nearly as many of them as I'd like to, because nobody's running them anymore. So, Stunfisk with no shields against Cofagrigus, however, does not win this matchup. So, I will be able to safely get to a Shadow Ball and a Dark Pulse if I need to. And then I don't think that Walrein had any energy left, so I'm going to be able to get a couple Shadow Claws on it, or a Charm on it, and that'll pretty much take it out. So this game is pretty much in the bag. Cofagrigus showing off its absolute bulk here. Watch it. Just, my opponent goes for Rock Slide. I mean, they're trying to get my last shield. I kind of have to call that bait. But they just go straight for another Rock Slide, and I'm not really sure if they were just trying to get some damage off before they went down, or what the deal is. But now I'm going to be able to go in here, overfarm quite a bit because I'm counting moves, and I miss it. I miss it by 1 move because I was off. I counted to 4, and I thought that they were at... I thought they were only at 4 instead of having that extra one, but they come back in with their Deoxys, and they have no shields. They came in to catch a Shadow Ball. I'm not throwing Dark Pulse at this thing. It's a lot of damage. And then we're going to come in, and we're going to go and throw that Dark Pulse just to finish off this Deoxys. And then I'm gonna do a little fun stuff here. I'm gonna swap in my Ninetales because I know that just 2 Charms is gonna take it out, and it'll take the game. So Ninetales coming in here doing absolute work, right? It totally wasn't Cofagrigus this time. No, it was Cofagrigus, put some work every game. So Cresselia on the lead. This is unusual. I don't see Cresselias in Great League anymore. So I'm going to come straight in with Sableye. It's a neutral matchup. I want to draw out their hard counter, even though they have Moonblast, but they don't swap out. So I do shield. I figured this is probably going to be a Moonblast. And then my opponent's going to swap out, I think, at some point. No, I'm going to throw this Foul Play. Okay, they're not swapping out. This is a really interesting thing for them not to want to swap out. So I figured they probably don't have a great answer to Sableye in the back. So I go ahead and throw this Foul Play, and they come in with Empoleon, and immediately I'm like, wait a minute. Did this person queue into open with the Sinnoh Cup team? It's alright. You know, I'm still going to give them the same amount of respect as I would give them if they played with an open team, because you know what? Empoleon still chunks, and it's going to be able to take me out. I'm going to try and no-shield this. I want to see if I can hang on. I've never actually taken a Hydro Cannon on my XL Sableye. It doesn't. It takes him out. Unfortunate. But so Cofagrigus is going to be able to come in here and farm this Empoleon all the way down. So even at a shield disadvantage, getting that extra energy is going to make the difference. And it's a Frostlass coming in. So yep, my opponent must have mistakenly queued in to open Great League with the Sinnoh Cup team. It's okay. I've done it at least 12 times myself when I was playing in Sinnoh Cup, so don't feel bad, man. This was still a good game regardless. Just kind of hard for Sinnoh to deal with Charmlow and Ninetales and 2 Ghosts. That meta really isn't, like, it's not really built for it, so just unfortunate for them. But good game to my opponent there, even though it wasn't exactly... it was a bit of a mismatch, but they did their best, and I think they played really well. So, Ninetales against yet another Deoxys, and I didn't really realize that there were so many goddamn Deoxys in this video, but yeah, Deoxys is a super popular pick in Great League, so my opponent comes in with the Ninetales here. That is absolutely hard counter. I'm going to bait with the Foul Play. I don't know why I bait with the Foul Play. I figured, okay, maybe I can get to another return, but I timed my moves horribly, and I could have landed a return there if I had tried. Now, I'm able to get to a second Foul Play to do a little bit of chip damage despite my misplay there. I know the opponent will live a return if they throw it, but I could have possibly taken that mid-game, and that would have been everything. So, opponent's going to come in here, throw some energy. I'm going to let it go, even though it's probably a Side Shock, which it is. Ouch, that kind of hurts. But I'm going to let it go, and then I'm going to basically just try and wait out the switch clock, throw a move if I have to. My opponent's waiting it out for me. So I'm going to Charm down a little bit, and then I'm going to swap into Cofagrigus as soon as I'm done here. Now I'm going to save 2 shields for Cofagrigus and pray to God that whatever they've got in the back can handle it. It's a freaking Walrein. So Walrein here is going to be able to outpace me. Now, I'm going to no-shield this because I know it's an Ice Skull Spear, but it's dangerous because I know how much damage that's going to do now. It hurts. And they're farming me down at this point with Powder Snows, but I'm doing my best to over farm at every opportunity to try and sneak in Shadow Claws to try and get ahead on energy. And I'm just going to throw my Dark Pulses here. Now my opponent also sneaks in moves, and unfortunately I lost so many games today due to sneak in and denial. It's just so inconsistent. I hate it. My opponent's going to leave 2 shields for their Deoxys, which at this HP range, unfortunate. Because I have to get to 3 Dark Pulses to take them out, and my opponent just needs to get some counters through. And they're, you know, with my HP that low, unfortunately they're probably going to be able to do it. But I'm going to do my damnedest to try and get there. So throwing this other Dark Pulse here, they're going to shield it up, and I'm getting extremely low on HP. I've kind of already realized at this point that I've lost this game, but I'm going to keep going. And unfortunately, my opponent takes me out. GG's to them. That was a... I should have shielded the Icicle Spear, but they probably would have shielded their Walrein at that point, so it's kind of hard to say what would have happened. But excellent lead against an XL, or another Sableye, maybe XL or not. So when an Azu swaps in with this team, if you can't, get immediately into Cofagrigus and overfarm, count their moves, make sure that you shield. So you want to shield this first move if it's not an Ice Beam. Play Rough does enough damage to make this matchup very close if you don't shield that first one. And obviously, if they go up to Hydro Pump, you have to respect it. But then you start going for Shadow Ball. If you can time your moves correctly, throwing on, you know, the 1st, the 4th, the 7th, Shadow Claw against the Azu, like I'm about to here, you're able to maximize your energy gains, minimize your opponent getting free energy, and you also get to throw in the middle of their move, which prevents them from swapping out and catching things. My opponent does shield the move here. There was no shield there, it's just a visual bug, but they did shield the move. And they're looking to flip switch on me now by using Ice Beam. So what I need to do here is I'm going to just go for this Shadow Ball. And my opponent catches it on a Stunfisk, which is going to be a mistake for them because my Sableye now is going to be able to handle it. So with no shields, my Sableye comes in. With them having no shields, my Sableye comes in, throws this Foul Play, and I'm going to look to farm down after this. I expect, since they realize they're probably only get to 1 move, I'm definitely going to shield this up because it's probably going to be an Earthquake. And I want to keep my Sableye healthy because I need to. I mean, I don't want to deal with... Oh, no, I don't even shield it. I don't even let it go. Hold on. I owe you guys a kaboom for that. I forgot. Yep, I didn't shield that. I forgot that I didn't shield that. All right, that's my bad. So let Sableye go. I'm trying to keep my Ninetales healthy at this point. And they've got a Sableye, so I'm going to be able to get this Foul Play off, and I'm going to try to go for the next Foul Play if I can. If not, just come swap in my Ninetales here. Does a respectable amount of damage, almost 50%. I am able to get there with just 1 HP. Just one singular little HP pixel. Able to get this Foul Play off to take out the Sableye, and I'm going to immediately swap in to charm down the rest of this Azumarill. I have a shield. My opponent has a little bit of energy. I know that I can live 1 move, so I'm going to do so. And I am going to charm this thing the rest of the way down, maybe throw a Weather Ball or something, but not my opponent, just concedes the match. So, good game to my opponent. That was pretty well played on their part. Catching that Shadow Ball on the Stunfisk was pretty awesome. But unfortunately, I did have the ability to deal with it. So, Altaria, another one of those excellent leads you love to see. So, Swampert comes in, and I'm coming in with Sableye. I do get outpaced. I can tank 1 Hydro Cannon. My opponent's going to have to shield them at both moves that I throw here if they want to win Switch. So, in this particular case, they come in with a Swampert. I'm thinking maybe they've got like an Azu in the back if their safe swap is a Swampert. So I go ahead and I'm going to shield this up. I already took the first one, and I need to start getting some moves off here so that I can try and win Switch. But I'm going to basically try to go for both these Foul Plays. And then I'm going to lose Switch here on purpose because I want to be able to get some energy. My opponent's able to get there before I am. So... let's see if I shield here. No, I'm going to shield here to preserve the energy. I'm going to overfarm by just a little bit to make sure I get this Foul Play off before they get to the next move. And I'm going to throw this Foul Play at them here, see if they want to lose Switch here. They do lose Switch, so I'll keep my Ninetales aligned to the Altaria, and I'm able to even get this Foul Play off. Dude, Sableye put in so much work on this team. It's honestly, it's so great. Is so great. When it's not like sitting up against a Charmer is great. So my opponent comes in with Celio. So they didn't evolve it for the Calm Day. They had a really good Celio. So I looked to charm it down a bit, and then I actually save my Ninetales for the Altaria because I know that my opponent's moveset is probably Body Slam Water Pulse. And I know that they ain't going to do anything to me with a Body Slam. And all they can throw is the very meh Water Pulse. So I'm going to bait with Dark Pulse, which is honestly something you see me do a lot in this video probably. I always look to bait with Dark Pulse when I'm going for shields. Dark Pulse almost always does like neutral damage, can threaten just about to take it out, put it down to Shadow Claw down range either way. So my opponent goes to the second Water Pulse. It barely hangs on with Cofagrigus to get this Dark Pulse off to take it out. Yeah, Dark Pulse is an excellent move because it's just a little bit... Oh, it doesn't take it out. Not quite. We're going to be able to get one Charm off and take it out. Oh, they swap out immediately. I'm going to get the Weather Ball off, and that's it. They don't... They got it. I'm sorry. My opponent is not able to hang on. Ah! That's it. That was the wrong button. I meant to hit the Kaboom button, but they didn't even take the damage, so... Whatever. Bad productions there. You suck at this. That's alright. Picking up a 4-1 set at the very end of that to climb back into the 2700s again. I'm super stoked for Ultra League Premier Cup to come back because honestly, that's my favorite league. It always has been, and I've got some stuff ready for it. But as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed the team. I know there's plenty of people, especially in my Patreon group and in some other groups that I'm in, that use this team that just have so much fun with it, have so much success with it. It's a really good team too if you're looking to learn energy management and move counts, and it's a really good learning team, honestly, because Shadow Claw is just one of those moves that's very easy to use and easy to kind of time things with. I don't know why it is like it's Shadow Claw. It's weird, but it's a very good team to use if you're trying to like learn that kind of stuff. So I highly recommend it, and it's been great, and especially in this meta that's dominated by fighters, Deoxys, Metachamp, things like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in the next video, and I really appreciate you watching this. Thank you so much. Bye.